Thank you for listening to Sometimes Social. We just want to warn you that this audio may contain explicit language that may be inappropriate for some audiences.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to Sometimes Social.
Hi,
My name's Luis.
and I'm Yesenia.
Cheers.
Cheers. Gosh, I need this.
All right, so before we get into today's topic, please, everyone, if you haven't already, go and subscribe, like, comment, do all that good stuff. We are on YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Those are the main ones that we're on. If you're on one of the listening platforms, leave us a rating and a review too. We'd appreciate it. So let's get into it.
So, this week's episode is called Election Hangover.
It sure feels like it, doesn't it?
Because just like a regular hangover where you feel tired and drained and all you want to do is just lay down and sleep is how I feel about the election.
Yeah,
It's
agree.
been so draining.
Yeah, sure has.
So the election is semi done, I guess. We just found out that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the next president and vice president of the United States.
Or are they?
Well, we'll get to that in a bit, but in my book,
Mine too. I think it's inevitable, but we'll get into all that.
we'll get into that.
So I guess we should start with talking about like how we felt leading up to the election.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel leading up to this election?
So, I mean, at first it was kind of like, okay, whatever, it's another election, you know. But as you know, I'm on Instagram and Bookstagram and and they were really pushing about, you know, the election, get out and vote, make your voice heard,
Yep.
about, you know, let's get rid of, you know, Donald Trump from office.
Yeah,
And really just hearing like their stories and how like scared they were if Joe Biden wasn't gonna win the election.
Right.
Like I just felt all those those emotions of fear and concern.
yeah,
So leading up, I'm like, oh my God, like this shit is real, you know? And I feel like I've lived a very privileged life, you know,
Right.
and everything that's going on or him being in office these past 4 years haven't really affected me, you know,
Right.
personally.
me neither.
The most it's affected me is when the whole ICE raids, you know, were going
Right.
on, and I just thought of my grandparents. They're US citizens now, you know, but I was just thinking like, oh my God, what if they're at Northgate and they're just, you know, they stop them there and they're not going to be able to communicate like, hey, I'm a US citizen, you know.
Right.
What if they take them? Like, that's the extent to it, but at the same time it's like, well, they're US citizens, so they really have nothing to worry about. But like I said, after hearing all these people's stories on Instagram, I'm just like how can this happen, you know?
Right.
Like, it sucks to be in their shoes, and I feel for them,
Yeah.
you know? So leading up to the election, I'm just like, well, I need to do my part too,
Yeah,
you know?
felt a lot of pressure to go out there and vote.
Yeah, and, you know, I just want to be supportive and empathetic to, you know, their situation.
Right.
So that's how I felt leading up to election.
And believe it or not, this is actually the first time I've ever voted.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Hopefully, I did it right. Oh, speaking of that, I was actually listening to MSNBC, not sponsored. I was listening to MSNBC, and they were talking about how some of the votes were they could have been invalidated because they didn't have the envelope inside the envelope.
What do you mean they didn't have the envelope inside the envelope?
That's exactly what I thought. So I was like, holy shit, because you know our ballots weren't they were just in one envelope.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in Pennsylvania their voting's a little bit different. So they put one envelope and then they put that into another envelope. I don't know exactly how it works.
So before you mail it in or before you take it in, the envelope has to be inside the envelope.
Right. Yeah. There's like there's an envelope and then there's like a secrecy envelope or a privacy envelope or something. I forget what they call it. But I was like, holy shit! I had to go and look to make sure that we did it right.
Did I miss mine? Did I do mine
Not that it would have
incorrectly?
mattered because we're in California and it's
Yeah.
it's
Blue state.
yeah, we're pretty overwhelmingly. I think he
We're up
got.
in the blue.
I think I think Biden got like 4 million more votes than Trump in California.
Okay.
So we're
Maybe.
okay. Even if we screwed up, we're okay.
Yeah. How
Uh,
did you feel coming up to election?
so to me, it wasn't really a big deal. Like I mean, I'm aware of California being a blue state, and so I didn't really feel that pressure. I did think that it was important for me to go out and vote, just because if everyone thinks like, oh well, it's a blue state anyways, I'm not gonna go out and vote, then that's how
Like,
states
yeah.
turn, right? So I did want to do my part, but I didn't feel like super pressure. Like I didn't feel a lot of pressure. Um, Obviously, I have family that is also not or
They're not U.S. citizens.
right.
Not
Yeah.
undocumented, but
Correct. Yeah.
yeah.
But so I wanted to make sure to do my part as well. I know we tried to get our ballots filled out ahead of time so that we wouldn't be scrambling at the last minute, but that turned into a fucking disaster, didn't it?
Yeah, so I think we started filling them out the Saturday before the election.
On Halloween.
It was on Halloween.
Yeah.
So we're already like scrambling, like, let's do this really fast because, we had other stuff to do for Halloween. And I think we got in a fight. No, we're like in a little argument.
It wasn't really a fight, but we were kind of just like feeling tense,
frustrated.
Yeah. And then also my sister-in-law got she got sick, so I had to go take care of her kids, and that took up all of my day.
No, but it was just, and how you were saying like you didn't feel the pressure because of, the presidency. We're a blue
Right.
state, but it's so much more than just the presidency. Like there's propositions on there that, affect our neighbors essentially.
Yeah, filling out the president was easy. It was just like boom, Kanye. Let's move on to the next. that one was cake. When it came down to, like you said, the propositions is where it was like, holy shit, like what is it?
Yeah.
And then the way they word them is so confusing because it's like yes can sometimes mean that you're voting against it.
Right. It's
And
like,
so-
how do you, and I mean, we're not like political
No.
people at all. Like
No.
we don't follow the policies and things like that.
Nope.
And so we were going into it like, okay, let's read like the little synopsis in the book that they sent us.
Yeah.
But then like after we read the synopsis, we had like tons of questions. We were like, okay, well, but what if this happens? Then what does that mean? And what about this? And what about that? And like, how are we gonna get those answers in like the hour that we wanted to complete?
Yeah. Oh, but I do think that's a good place to be in though, because you're not really sold on like one side or the other. You're more open.
Right.
Whereas people who are like married to one side, there's no turning them.
Yeah.
But we got hung up on the Prop 16, right?
Yeah, the affirmative action one.
Which is like, it's kind of one of those where you're fucked if you do, fucked if you don't. Like, either way, if somebody wanted to like use race or gender, they can use it. They can manipulate the way the law was written to
still focus on those minorities. Yeah.
Right.
So affirmative action. So the bill passed where you can't discriminate by race, gender, whatever, right? But the affirmative action is that you can focus on specific race.
Yeah, you couldn't discriminate, but you can take those into account when hiring.
So that's what the policy was, to revoke it. And the thing for me is like, I wish that I would have paid more attention to how it used to be before, don't discriminate against race and all of that. But to your point, like, it can still be manipulated, because the huge thing was in the colleges. Like, they're admitting people, minorities into these colleges and using it to their advantage. But they're kind of still doing it now, but not necessarily by gender or by race. It's more so like if you're the first person in your family to go to college,
which is usually most likely going to be someone of
but it's not necessarily like based off of your gender or whatever. It's just, and it's more inclusive, which now that I think about it and I'm saying it out loud, like, I don't mind that. you
Yeah.
know? But so yeah, there's ways to kind of get around it, so we're still, I guess, reaching, that same goal. But I think
Right.
in that moment, it's like I said, I wish I would have known back. I wish I would have paid attention more back then, so I can have that sense of, okay, this is how it used to be. This is how it's now. Like, which one is better,
Well, to be fair, I mean, I think that's a bill that's been around for a long time, right? Like, so we would have been really young to know.
I remember when I first started college, one of my friends, she was writing a paper on affirmative action.
Yeah.
So,
So,
I
like I
mean,
said, a really long time ago.
wasn't that long ago. God. But I mean, I should have been old enough to understand
Yeah.
had, I been more interested. Instead, I was interested in boys. But it's like, yeah, we got hung up on that one. And a couple other ones, I'm like, what does this mean? Well, I don't know. Like, I just wanted to know more about it. And that's 100% like my fault.
Yeah.
I should have done, like, I knew this election was here.
Yeah.
I knew we were going to vote. Like, I should have done my own research.
I agree. Yeah, you should have done a little more research for us.
For us.
You tell me how to vote.
You're the research guy, not me.
Yeah, yeah, I am. But like I said, it was the first time that I had voted. I actually didn't even know that you voted on propositions in the same election that you do for the presidential election.
Like, I've never voted
Yeah,
before.
I didn't know. I thought it was just like you vote on what you want to vote for, and the other ones, fuck it.
You leave it
don't.
blank.
Yeah.
But fill it in for me, whatever you think
Yeah.
is best.
C, none of the above.
Yeah, and that's one thing, like, as I was looking at, Instagram and seeing all these people promoting about like voting and all this stuff, like, I really had nothing to say, and I kind of felt guilty, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't have anything to say. But it was partly because, not that I didn't want to, it was more so like, I didn't know what to say. Like, I didn't want to say the wrong thing.
Right.
I'm not really educated, in all these policies, and even what like Joe Biden is doing and what Donald Trump is doing, or what he has done. Like, I'm just unfortunately not educated on any of that.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to put anything out there and, I guess look stupid in a way, and someone come at me, a troll like you, and be like, well, this and that and that, and I'll be like, oh shit, my bad, like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, like, I'm just trying to I'm just trying to help everyone else out. But that's one thing, like, moving forward, I feel like this whole year is about like everything that I have to do. But hopefully, in the next 4 years, I can educate myself. So next presidential election, like, I can really promote and stand behind, the different policies that are
Yeah.
being affected. So.
That way you know what AOC is doing.
Yeah. Everyone, or what's happening in my own city.
Yeah,
So.
and then obviously it'll be a little bit easier just because politics is very polarizing right now. Like, I don't know if that has to do with us being older and like being involved in it a little more.
Yeah.
Like, was it always this divided?
I feel like I remember, I think it was 4 years ago. It wasn't divided, but it was like, you have to vote, and I think it was, the whole Donald Trump thing. But even before that, I don't remember it being, so divided.
Yeah, I don't either.
But even before that, though, I want to backtrack. We didn't talk about, how we felt on election day. How did you feel on election day? Because I feel like that was a whole set of different emotions for me.
So election day for me was kind of exciting, actually, because like it was the first time that I was voting, so I had the excitement building up. I actually didn't think that Joe Biden stood a chance, though.
Yeah, I kind of sensed that too.
So I was a little, I guess, nervous about it.
Yeah.
I also had been hearing leading up to the election that we weren't gonna know the results because there were so many mail-in ballots, or I don't know whether to call them mail-in or fraudulent ballots. There were so many mail-in ballots, and so I had heard that it was gonna take some time. I do remember the previous election though that they announced who was going to be president. Well, we'll get into all that, but they announced the new president elect Donald
Right
Trump.
away.
Yeah, not right away, but it was like 11 o'clock at night,
Okay.
and so I was like, oh well, maybe we'll get to there, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe the next day.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to last as long as it did though.
Yeah.
But for me, it was exciting at first. Later on, as the votes started coming in, like that's when my stomach started turning a little bit, and I started getting a little nervous.
Leading to the results.
Right? Yeah. Once some of the states started rolling in with
Mm-hmm.
numbers, I did get a little nervous, but it was overall exciting, I guess.
Yeah, I was anxious on the day of,
Yeah.
just because I kind of had that same feeling like you. I was like, oh my God, there's so many Trump supporters. Like, what if we don't do it? I kind of had
Yeah.
those doubts. And I was, like I said earlier, like, I was afraid, like, if Donald Trump is president again for the next 4 years, like, what does it mean for all these other people?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's where my anxiety was building up, and I was just like, I couldn't like really focus on the kids' school. I was just thinking about it on
Yeah.
Instagram, and I'm just like, I need to get off of social media because I just need to take a break. Because yeah,
Well, I had thought because I was at work, you were here at home, but you thought Anthony had a doctor's appointment, so you guys left. And did you leave or no?
no, I didn't. I didn't end up going, but so yeah, I for some reason I thought the appointment was on. Well,
Tuesday.
I thought Tuesday was the 4th, but it was the 3rd.
Yeah.
And it could have been the election. I was just like so like I don't know what it was.
Yeah. So I thought you had already gone to turn in your ballot.
Oh no.
And I stopped and got food and everything. And I was like, I got home in like a cheerful mood, and you were just like burning holes through my soul with your eyes, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And
I'm
then
like,
you
it
said,
took you so long.
yeah, and then you said, I gotta go turn in my ballot, and I was like, oh shit, I thought you had already done that.
Yeah, and you had come home with Lolitas. We're ready to eat. You're like, well, let's eat first. And I'm like, no, I gotta turn it in. I only have until 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a mess. I guess that kind of says it all, how I was feeling.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we found out on Saturday, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris got to 290 electoral, 290 or 270?
270.
270
Yeah.
electoral votes.
Yep.
So
I guess, for those of you that don't understand what that means,
do we understand what that means?
I'm gonna try and explain to you to the best of my knowledge, I guess. So the way it works is that each state has a certain amount of electoral college votes, right?
Mhm.
And those are appointed. I actually don't even know how they're appointed.
I don't know, maybe it's like the House of Representatives or something, or the
But-
Senator. I don't know.
But regardless, so those people are the ones who actually submit their votes for the president,
Presidency.
and they don't do that until I think it's in December is when they do that.
Okay.
So when they vote based on how the people of the state vote.
Mhm.
So because everyone voted in California for Biden, that California has 55 electoral votes. So those 55 votes will go for Biden
Mhm.
in December.
Mhm.
So that's why it's just a projected,
Right.
or president elect, or because they still have to go through that process of voting.
Right.
I don't think there's ever been a situation where the electoral college don't vote the
Mhm.
same way that the state voted.
Right.
I don't.
But it can happen.
It can happen. Yeah, there's nothing that legally prevents them from doing that.
Right.
It just doesn't ever happen.
Right. I
Oh.
remember we watched the whole video. I think we watched 2 or 3 videos, like to really try to understand.
Yeah.
I think it was during the primary election.
Right. Yeah. So he's not actually the president yet.
No.
He's just the projected president.
Right.
So
They still gotta vote him.
yeah,
in.
which gives those Trump supporters a little bit of
ammunition
yeah,
to try to fight with everyone.
yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm glad you brought that up because I've seen that a lot on social media. It's like he's not president yet.
yeah,
They haven't selected, or how Donald Trump is like, there's a bunch of fraud ballots and
Yeah.
it wasn't counted correctly. You weren't letting them in
Yeah.
to supervise the counting.
right. It's extremely divided right now on social media. Yeah, you're either on one side of the fence or on the other side. There's no like kind of straddling the fence a little bit.
And that like totally sucks.
It does suck, yeah.
It sucks that there's a divide.
Hmm.
And I have seen posts about like no matter who votes, like at the end of the no matter who you vote for, at the end of the day, we're each other's neighbors, so let's be peaceful with each other, let's be kind with one another, and all of this stuff.
Right.
But then I also see like the counterpoint to that where some people are posting like, no, like that can't happen because you voting for Trump, you're pretty much voting for someone whose values are to be racist and homophobic and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And for me personally, like I don't remember, I'm sure it's out there, but I don't remember any like homophobic stuff or anything that he said. But simply the fact that he's like, let's build a wall to keep the Mexicans out, like to
Yeah.
me, that's being racist,
Yeah, he says some shit. So I mean, obviously we don't know him personally, so there's no
Right.
way to know whether or not he like
He
how he
actually
feels
did.
on
No.
these. But he does give off that persona that makes it okay to
Yeah,
be
to be
racist, right?
racist, yeah.
So whether or not he's a racist himself, there's no way to argue that. Like you can't know that. But just the fact that he makes it okay to be that, like you can't get behind someone like that. And then
Yeah.
you also don't want a president who is dividing the country.
Right.
And I feel like that's what he's doing, you know?
Right. Yeah, so it's more than just, him being racist or whatever, but it's, yeah, he's dividing the country. And if it were like your company's CEO
Yeah.
that you're working for and he's racist, you wouldn't want to work for someone like that, or
Nope.
you wouldn't want to work for someone that doesn't have, the same values as you.
Right.
You would want them out or you would want to leave, So it's
Yeah.
like, why would we want a president who has, those ugly values?
Not just that, but I mean, he has been known to lie a lot. Yeah.
Like saying that he won by a lot.
Yeah. If you count the legal votes, he won.
No, but I want to backtrack a little bit how you said about, he makes it okay to be racist.
Right.
And you've actually experienced, I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast episode
I
before,
don't think we
but
have.
you actually experienced this whole thing about, him building a wall and someone being racist to you.
Yeah. So I am not one to like kind of how would I say it? I'm not really a pushover, I guess. I don't really and I'm pretty witty, I'm pretty quick, I would say. And so like if somebody is like talking shit to me or saying something to me, like I usually have a pretty quick comeback, right?
Yeah.
And I was at Walmart and already in a bad mood because Walmart just puts me in a bad mood. But if you guys want to sponsor, we're open to that. But I was at Walmart and then I had already got my groceries, and it was actually one of the few times where I was able to find everything that I went there to get.
So you were actually in a good mood.
Yeah, yeah, I was in a good mood, and it was early. It was Sunday morning. It was early, and I do all my shopping. I do all the grocery shopping on Sunday, and so I was checking out, and this lady, she didn't say one word to me while we were checking out, like not one word.
The cashier lady.
The cashier, yeah, she didn't say not even oh hi, how you doing, good morning. She didn't even tell me my total, nothing. And she scanned everything, put it in the bag, and then so I saw the total. I put my card in, and I punched the code for the card. And as she's handing me the receipt, she told me, they're gonna build that wall, right? And I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, I can't remember exactly what I told her, but I was like, okay. I was like,
like what the fuck does that do with me?
Yeah, like what the fuck's that mean to me? And she was like, I'm just saying they're gonna build the wall. I was like, all right, whatever. So I took my receipt and I'm walking out. And as I'm walking out, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like
She saw the big nopal on your forehead.
But like I said, usually I'm pretty witty,
Yeah.
and this one completely caught me off guard. And I was like, I'm on the way to the car. I think I called you.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're not gonna believe what the fuck just happened to me. I was like, this is crazy.
But that was the first time that you've experienced anything like that, I'm assuming.
No, that wasn't the first time, but that was the first time there was like, actually the other one was pretty blatant too.
Oh, at your old work?
Yeah. We'll save that one for another podcast.
Well, this whole like civil divide between everyone, I think it sucks. And although I had seen it prior to this election, like I know a couple people who are not talking because one's a Trump supporter and one's not.
Yeah.
And it sucks that I see, like, I see people, like, I can see that we're probably not gonna be friends.
Yeah, I don't have any people who are Trump supporters that I genuinely don't want to be friends with. Like I have friends that are Trump supporters, obviously, but I don't. I guess I am more open to a friendship with them rather than to just see you later. You know. You know, you feel the opposite.
It's not that I'm not open. Like, to be honest, like, I want to understand
Yeah,
why they are Trump supporters. I genuinely want to understand, like, what their reasoning is behind, all of that. But I just think about, like, these people who, like, he wants to build a wall and he's talking about how all these undocumented people are criminals,
right.
you know, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, like, undocumented people personally, like, it doesn't affect me, but I just think about the other people who, like, that could be their parents or their brother or sister or their uncle or aunt, and if
It
other
can be
people,
them. Like
or
there's
them,
somebody
but
there's
they wouldn't be voting, but they would be scared, yeah. But that's
yeah,
the thing, like, how can I support or be friends with someone who, like, they don't
they don't have
they have that
compassion.
same, yeah, they don't have, they have that same maybe thought process of, like, yeah,
Yeah,
we don't want them here. And yeah, like, some people who do come over and who might be undocumented, yeah, some are criminals, like, I get it, but
yeah,
not all of them are criminals,
yeah,
and, like, each person has their own story, and you can't generalize, like, all undocumented people are criminals. And that's the thing that I kind of, it's like, how can I be your friend when you have those values,
right.
and it's okay, yeah, to disagree and not have, be the same with each of your friends. But then again, it's like, I'm not going to be friends with someone who I don't, like, see eye to eye with either. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not, yeah, it's like, okay, we can be acquaintances and we be cordial with each other. Like, that's one thing. But being friends with them, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it's a little different when it involves like human lives. Like
Yeah.
say if you're arguing on like gun control and stuff. Like that's obviously
Yeah.
something where, you know,
It's a personal preference
right,
type
yeah.
thing.
And I don't really care one way or the other there. So it
Yeah.
doesn't really, you know, it doesn't affect me, but I mean, I don't know when you're arguing about a human life, like someone who like for instance, like there could be kids who are here, they were brought over when they were little, that
Right.
don't
And they
know
don't know.
any other country. This
Right.
is their country,
Right.
but they're
Yeah.
unfortunately they're not
And
legal.
how he was trying to, so those people, they have, there, some are here because of the DACA.
Yeah.
So they're able to be here as their citizens because they don't know anything other than being here. And he got rid of that,
Yep.
and it's like, and yeah, I think you're right. It's the whole human, compassion thing. It's like,
Right.
how can you stand for that? I don't know. That just makes me sad, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing, I don't think we should get into it now, but another one that I have a hard time with, and we were talking about it a little bit the other day, is about the whole abortion
Yeah.
laws. That's a human life thing too, but it's like, that's just a sucky situation all
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, I think we'll keep our opinions to ourselves on that one, huh?
Why?
I don't know.
No. But I mean, I feel like that will go into a long conversation,
Yeah.
but it's like so many things.
Yeah, it's crazy to
That's
see.
why I feel
Yeah.
like I have a hangover.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're not the only ones that feel that way. You know, like I'm sure we have friends who feel exactly the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of friends, I kind of want to have somebody join us, special guest,
Yep.
backed by popular demand.
Let's do it. Let's get him on.
All right, so let's check in with a friend of ours. He was on our last podcast. Our good friend Rick Garcia,
Hi, Rick.
aka Rick
Hello,
the Dick.
guys.
Oh, you're so mean.
Doing
So
well. It's actually called being a Rick. But,
being a Rick, yep. So we wanted to get your thoughts on the election, on how you felt and how you felt about the results and all that.
yeah, man. I mean, where do I start, dude? Um,
Okay,
I
let's
feel
start.
like
How did you feel like
what?
on election day?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there was a lot of anxiety for sure. Um, like you know, although I got I got quite a few family members to vote, probably for the first time in their 50, 60 years of life, which was
Nice.
kind of huh?
I was a first time voter this election.
Yeah, man. And a lot of people have been like that. And a lot of the things that I hear from them is just like, well, it doesn't matter. Our votes don't count, and whatnot. And a lot of anxiety for me. I'm big on my anxiety comes from like the unknown. I want to know. I want to know. Like a lot of America, dude. We're at a point in our life where we have everything at our phones, and this election took a week. It
Yeah.
felt like a month. So we wanted the results fast, and I'm not gonna lie. I thought Donald Trump was gonna take it again, just because of the outpour he was getting, and the following he was getting at these rallies, and with our current climate, with the pandemic going on, and people wanting to open up the economy, I was a little nervous. So the anxiety definitely kicked in during the actual election day. This is the first year that I mean, I voted before, but this is the first year that I've actually like watched it. When we first did it 4 years ago, that was my first time voting, and it was like, I mean, no shot. You know what I mean? He has no shot, and wasn't as nervous. I wasn't, I didn't know the amount of people supporting him were going to show true colors through the next 4 years. So it didn't, affect me as much. So with all the emotions that I've bottled up within these last 4 years, it definitely hit me on election day. I remember telling Martha, like, dude, why am I tripping right now? Like I feel nervous. I feel anxious, like, why do I feel like this? Like it affected me a lot more than I thought, and it really, it really just shocked me on like how, dude, I was like cheering, like I was watching sports when states were turning blue. I mean, it
You were
was
hitting them with
crazy.
the bombazo.
Yeah, basically, dude. Basically, and Martha would run out of the room like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Oh, he just took this steak." Like, but then not. And I was up late, and I remember like 12:30 at night that they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be going on for days," and I'm like, "Days? I want to know in the morning. What do you mean days?"
Oh no, right now.
So yeah. So I mean, I think the biggest thing was the anxiety. It was a lot of uncertainty, and my stomach was kind of in knots. And again, I didn't think it would have affected me like that, but it did. And talking with a lot of other people, and getting their response to it is very similar. It was kind of crazy that a lot of people felt that way.
So now that we know the results, how do you feel about it now?
You know what, dude? And I'm not even ashamed to say this. I teared up. I was laying I was actually golfing yesterday, and
Oh, thanks.
everybody was going, huh?
Thanks.
I knew you were going to say that. And everybody started cheering on the golf course, and then Martha texted me, and she was like, "Dude, but they just announced Biden won," and I'm like, "No wonder everybody's screaming." And I got home, and I rolled up to a certain song to the house. Obviously, my mom came out, started dancing to it, and we were kind of like, laughing about it, just kind of happy
Shout out
about
to
it.
YG.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out YG. And I got in the house, and it was cool. I wasn't, I felt like I was happy and whatnot. But when we watched their speeches, I teared up, dude. I got a knot in my throat, and
Yeah.
was like, I turned to Martha, and I'm like, dude, I'm emotional. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, like I'm feeling some type of way right now. And I just felt like my eyes get like watery,
Yeah.
and thinking to myself, like, this dude really took a toll on me that I didn't realize.
Yeah.
And I think what has made it harder for me was the friends that have came forward and kind of criticized me, and messaged me things that I would have never thought people, you know, somewhat close to me say these things, you know, and I think all that stress, all that anxiety really just hit me at that point. And, you know, Kamala's, you know, speech was just, I mean, deep, dude, you know, and I think that's what really got me choked up at first. And then when Biden came out, and he came out running, so, you know, that was kind of funny. He came out and said his speech, and I think, you know, it's time to heal, you know, and they're, by all means, you know, do I think they're going to be our saving grace? No, but it's going to be now our job to hold them accountable for what they said they're going to do, you know. And I think it's not, again, I don't think they're the saving grace, but I definitely feel, you know, it's a step in the right direction, you know, trying to unite everybody again. And you know, a lot of people messaging me saying, dude, you're dividing people. No, I'm not. I'm trying to bring us together. You guys need to get hate out your life, and let's come together and find, you know, a common ground, you know. And I think that's what the biggest thing I took from this was just like, it took a bigger toll on me than I actually thought it did. You know, for me to get emotional over that, dude, I was kind of like, what is going on here, you know?
So how do you feel about it not being official yet?
You know, I mean, and I told Martha it's still not over. You know, I know people are going crazy and they're calling it, but you know, he's not going to go down without a fight for sure, and that's still a little scary because again, you're starting to see a lot of the hate, and you know, one thing that's really been bothering me. For the ones that haven't blocked me already, a lot of my law enforcement friends, I've been blocked like by 12 people in this last like week. A lot of my law enforcement friends are posting videos and information that's just not true. And to me, it's like, your job, a large part of it is to tell the truth and to lead by example, but yet you're posting things, and anybody can post whatever they want to social media, it's theirs. But as a law enforcement officer, border patrol agents, I would think, damn, like, don't you want to post the correct information so that your source is valid, that and when it comes down to your word being valid, you know, you don't lose that credibility,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of still up in the air and kind of bothering me a little bit. But again, you know, it's not over. We don't know how long it's going to be. I think he's going to go and fight it in the courts, but you know, I think America, I'm not even going to say myself, I think America is breathing a little bit better because, you know, it has been, you know, not given, but you know, they have been pre-selected as the runners and the president and vice president. So, I mean, I feel good about it. But I think it's still going to be a shit show, you know, for the next couple of weeks, maybe months. Who knows?
Yep, we'll have to wait and see. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for us with Rick. Do you have any more questions for him? No. We did. I did want to say that I think you are right on the fact that overwhelmingly people are happy that this has happened. Like I told you that we text the wrong. So we text the information for this meeting to the wrong number.
Yeah.
And then I just went out a whim and said, like, hey, you want to come on and talk about the election to see what they would say?
Did they come on?
No, they didn't. They said
that would have been cool.
So they said that they didn't want to come on over Zoom, but they're definitely happy that Biden won.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, that makes three of us.
Yeah. You know, one thing too, you know, I want to say, and because a lot of people, especially in my profession, you know, I never talk politics, dude. This is probably the first time, you know, even in the social media era and you know, since MySpace and Facebook and Twitter and all that, I've never really talked about politics because I don't. That's like in my profession, you don't talk about race, you don't talk about sex, you don't talk about politics. It's just, you know, because you never want to divide, you know, business. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of have to stay neutral and not really share those things. And you know, but with this one, man, the reason why I've been so vocal is I posted, you know, the Blackout Tuesday, and people came forward and were like, "What are you doing, dude? You're supposed to be a leader, and you're supposed to be this, you're supposed to be that, and you know, America is no place for undocumented immigrants, and Black Lives Matter is just covering up riots and all kinds of stuff." And I'm like, oh my God, this is an issue. You know, people trying to silence me because I'm never vocal, and I finally say something and I get all kinds of shit for it. And people unfollowing me and blocking me, and to me, I'm like, I mean, the trash took out itself, in my opinion. But it was a shocker that people I associated myself with had those opinions. And the biggest shocker was, I mean, I personally have undocumented, coworkers, family, friends, and for them not knowing that, but for them to come into my direct messages and tell me America's no place for them, that's when I was like, you know what? It's time to speak up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's time to stop this and not just be like, it's okay. You know what I mean? It's time to get that out of our heads and start working together and start coming up with a plan. And again, my biggest thing is, the Trump supporters thinking that we think Biden and Kamala are going to be our saving grace. We don't think that. We know it's going to be a long road ahead, but it's in our opinion, it's a start in the right direction.
Right.
And I just hope, the people that I have lost, I don't got hate in my heart for anybody. I don't dislike people because they voted for Trump. I dislike people that have the comments that I don't agree with. Right. That, I'm for humanity. You know what I mean? I'm not voting for a party. I'm not voting, to help myself. I'm voting for the people around me that are affected by it.
Yeah, we kind of touched on it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We kind of touched on it a little bit too, because we were saying like on certain policies that you can disagree on, but when you throw the human element into it, that's what kind of makes it to where you feel a little bit more compassionate towards people, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I had somebody tell me that undocumented immigrants are ruining the healthcare system, and that our taxes are going up because of it, this and that, and we pay for it. And I said, you know what, dude, I have no problem paying for that. If I know somebody coming over here, leaving a third world country, and they have a chance to live longer or better, and my taxes are paying for it, at least I know where my taxes are going. There's a lot of potholes that I'm like, where are those taxes going?
And it's actually not even our tax. Like, they pay taxes too, and they don't get tax returns.
Exactly, dude. And that was my argument, is a lot of the undocumented immigrants that I know actually do pay taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's
they
like,
don't get the tax breaks.
They don't, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. And yeah, man, I just overall, I feel good. I hope that we can professionally transition Biden and Harris into the White House, which I don't think is going to happen.
Nope.
It's just we're on the world stage, dude, and everybody's watching, and it could go really good, it could go really bad. I'm not even in the middle at this point, but I do feel a lot less stress and a lot less anxiety for sure.
Yep. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Well, thanks for joining us, Rick.
I know. All right, man. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. So we want to thank Rick for joining us, but we are back to our regular scheduled programming. So one thing that we have kind of ran into on social media has been the Trump supporters, huh?
Yeah.
They are a fearsome bunch, you can say.
They're passionate.
They are super passionate. That is a great word for it. Yeah. So obviously, there's a lot of misinformation that's going into this election. One thing that Trump has been very vocal on is fake news, I guess.
Yeah.
So he says that all the media is against him and all the media is fake and all that. And so all the Trump supporters, they ride on that, right? And so they ride that till the wheels fall off. Like fake news, fake media, all the media is lies. And my thing is, if all the media are liars, where do you get your information from?
Right.
Like, how is it that they know stuff that other people don't know?
It's because Fox News is the holy god.
but if you are on the left, you could say that Fox News is all fake too. Like
Yeah.
they spill out like right wing propaganda and
Right.
a bunch of bullshit. Like
Right.
just like I'm not saying that you know all the other agencies are telling 100% the truth. Like obviously
Right.
there's misinformation everywhere. But what I don't like is that you feel the need to act smarter than everyone.
Yeah.
You know, like you're
Or I feel like it's like you're better than everyone, or
yeah.
you just know more than everyone.
Yeah. And they say, if you voted for Biden, I can't believe how stupid you are. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me? Why don't you try and
Right.
convince me? Like, you're not
Right.
gonna win me over like that.
Right.
Like, if you have something, if there's obviously policies that you think that are gonna, because obviously, let's be 100% real here. You know, I was already calling him President Biden. So Biden,
President-elect.
yeah, President-elect Biden. There's gonna be certain policies that he that
Or puts in place.
yeah, that aren't the best for everyone
Right.
or best for certain people,
Right.
right? Not everything is going to be the best for everyone.
Right.
But I would be more receptive to it if you came to me and said like, "Hey, here's a policy that Trump put in place
Mm-hmm.
and here's why it would benefit you."
Right.
Like try and talk me into it like
Right.
that. Don't tell me, "Oh, just you just read the fake news."
Right.
Or you just follow fake
Right.
news. Like, what the fuck? Okay, well, I'm not gonna. That's like a
Right.
liar saying, "Trust me."
Right.
You know, and
Right.
it's fucking annoying.
Yeah. And yeah. I'm taking a survive. And that's the part that I hate, that it's like I think I have been pretty open and like I want to understand and I want to learn. But the fact that they're like, I watched a video today and I got so mad. I'm like, don't fucking tell me what to do. But he kept on that same note, like, I challenge you to do your own research. I challenge you to Google it. And it's like, okay, like, I'm going to Google my own stuff. And one thing that I have been seeing on social media is a whole thing about in 2000 when Al Gore and President Bush were on that election, how the media had said that Al Gore won the presidency.
Yeah.
But then that they were wrong, so it went to the Supreme Court, and then that's when the Supreme Court, after 37 days, declared that no, it was Bush that won.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, is that true? Like, what the heck? So I looked it up too, and I saw it on Britannia website, and that's a whole research website that, they colleges want, that's where they put their whole research or whatever, we do research papers. Anyway, so I saw it on there, and it was, the media had called it for, I think it said after 2 hours, they called it, they said, yeah, he won, but after 2 hours or
Gore,
something.
yeah. So they announced it for Gore. So I did a little bit more research than you. I watched a whole fucking documentary last night, okay? Because I was fighting with people on Facebook.
Troll.
So I watched the whole documentary on it. And so what happened is that the media announced Al Gore as the winner of Florida. 2 hours later, they realized that it was a mistake. So they went back, or they retracted that and called it too close to call.
Right.
2 hours after that, I think it was like 2 a.m. the following day, they announced Bush as the winner.
Right.
Yeah. And so I think even Al Gore, conceded the election. He called Bush to concede the election and then retracted that later. And then they went to a whole recount. I think it was an automatic recount because of how close it was. I don't exactly know how all that works. I should, but I don't. But they went to a recount, and then there was like a problem with the ballots. I think it was a butterfly ballots where there was like 2 names that were too close to each other that you can easily mistakenly vote for the wrong person. And so
at that the time, I think it was the whole punch out, punch in, right?
Yeah. And so that's, they were having trouble there, and then that's when it eventually went to the Supreme Court. But at no point, like after the day of the election, did they say that Al Gore was the president-elect.
Right.
Like that never happened.
Right.
But I don't know where they got that, or where they got that information from, but they're just like they do.
Yeah.
They're writing with it.
Yeah. So, because they're claiming that he was announced as president elect for the whole 37 days.
And
When
then
in reality, the website that I saw it on, it said only about 2 hours. After 2 hours, they said no, it's actually Bush who's in the lead at that
right,
point. And you saw the same thing on the
right,
documentary.
yeah.
So it's like, dude, like,
And somebody that
I feel
was
like that meme.
somebody that I was fighting with on social media was
Yeah.
actually like linking articles for me to read, and even the articles that he was linking.
The headline said.
Well, the headline said that the headline just said that there was like drama throughout those 36
Mm,
days. But even in the article, like he didn't read the article. Even in the article, it said that Bush was leading
right.
for those whole 36 days. Like
Right.
they never announced
Right.
anyone. It took
Or
36
he
days.
was announced as president elect, wasn't he? If
I
he
don't
won the full 270 votes,
that
he
night.
had to have been.
Yeah, that night. But then when they went to go do the recount, they rescinded that. So it was like there really wasn't a president. They didn't know who was going to be president. But it wasn't like, oh, they said Al Gore was going to be, and then later they flopped.
Right.
And that's what they're
right.
that's what they're throwing all their chips in, like hoping that happens to Bush. I mean to Trump.
Right.
But then,
Yeah.
sorry, hate to break it to you fellas, but it ain't happening.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, I don't know much about like the whole recount either.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know if that will happen or not. Like I can't really say to that, but just the fact on just that one little point, it's like, well, I did my research and my research is telling me something else. Like now you need to prove to me where out, like if you watched it, I read it, like it has to be true. Unless it's just one, then it's like, okay, well, it might not be true.
You can't tell me go do your own research and then tell me that my research is fucking fake.
It's fake news.
Yeah. Like if you don't want me to do, like, do you want me to do my own research or do you want me not to?
And the whole thing about the whole fake news and how the media is influencing you and stop being a sheep or whatever, it's like, come on, dude. Like, yes, there might be some people like that, but it's on both sides.
Yeah.
Not just Democrats. But don't put all Democrats into that one category where we're influenced by the media. Like we watched that one fucking documentary on social media and how they influence us. Like I fucking get it, and I don't fall into the trap of everything that social media tells me. Like I make decisions for myself, you know. And if I just want to blatantly follow someone, then who the fuck cares? Let me blatantly follow them. Shit. And that's the thing that I hate, that they're very like, do this and do that, and you should just, it's like, fuck, let me do what the fuck I want to do. Isn't that what you're claiming? You don't want Biden to be telling you what to do and impose all of these vaccinations on you but now you're imposing on me that I should think a certain way? Like, no, get the fuck out of here. I need a drink. You see, they get me so fucking riled up, and it's not necessarily that they're Trump supporters. It's more so that they're trying to tell me what to do, and I don't like that.
That's gonna be gold for the Instagram stories.
I just don't like it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you came up with the name for this episode, and I think that was a perfect name because it's like, now that it's over, we want to kind of take a break from it. We don't want to drink anymore.
Oh, we're drinking right now.
Yeah.
I've fallen off the wagon again because after last week I said we ain't drinking any more beer. But this election made me drink.
Yeah. So I guess only time will tell, like, to see, whether or not Biden is a good president. Yeah. Hopefully he helps unite the country and bring everyone together a little bit. Yeah. And we stop this divide, Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's better if we're all united.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're all Americans.
I think there's one thing that we can be united on.
What's that?
That the internet always fucking wins.
Holy shit. Internet is undefeated. The internet stays undefeated. The memes have been fucking hilarious. And for both sides. Obviously, you can obviously I
haven't seen many for the other side, but yeah.
Yeah, so I follow people who are on both sides, and so I see you for both, and I can laugh at a good joke. So, so what were some of your favorite memes?
So, I guess there were so many, and I couldn't think of like that many to. I'll probably share more in our stories on our Instagram. But one that I thought was really fun is not necessarily a meme, but a video, and it's the one of The Office, where
They were choosing a new manager.
they're choosing a new manager.
Yeah.
So they were choosing between Dwight and Bernard.
Yeah.
What was his first name? I can't remember.
It was Bernard. Was his first name? No, the Nard dog.
The Nard dog.
Yeah.
Maybe I can't remember his name anymore. But so they were choosing between him. So then here comes Jim.
Yep.
And he would like started saying something like, "We're really gonna let you really," or I forgot what he said. But then Dwight was Trump, Bernard was Biden.
Yeah.
So they were going back and forth, you know, and you'll have to watch it. We'll have to post it on our stories. We'll have to look for it. But it's like Trump or Dwight fit Trump perfectly,
Yeah.
you know, during this election, and Bernard fit perfectly for Biden. And then here comes Kevin as Nevada.
Yeah, he was like, "What do I want?"
And he was just kind of strolling.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that one! And I love The Office, so
Yeah.
you know, it made it even funnier. And then there was another one from The Office where Michael, I think they were kicking him out for some reason, or they were firing him. And he's like, "I'm not leaving peacefully. Nope, I'm not doing it." So they were saying like he was being Trump. We'll have to play back the episode because it was freaking hilarious. I'm like, that is a good one.
Yeah, the other one that was pretty funny was it said that Mexicans voting for Trump are the KKK. Instead of the KKK.
Yeah, and that is so funny because we do that a lot. Or I don't know if it was my grandma or my grandpa, but they always be like, KKK. So that
It was
just
your
made
grandpa.
it was my grandpa.
Yeah.
So that just made it all more funnier. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. There was also one where they put Biden's face over Thanos and he was snapping. And then there was like a bunch of the aliens with the Make America Make America Great Again hat.
And they were disappearing.
Yeah, they were fading off. That one was funny.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Which another one? Oh, there is an SNL skit.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one.
It was an SNL skit. And I think they were making fun of Trump, you know, about him leaving office. But he was like, it looked like it was a daycare center. And he was like throwing this big old tantrum on the floor. No, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave.
I did see that one, yeah.
That one was pretty funny.
And then obviously one that was pretty... So a lot of the Trump supporters called Joe Biden Sleepy Joe.
Oh, yeah.
And so there was one where he was like face down like on a desk sleeping. And it says, somebody wake up Joe and tell him somebody wake up Sleepy Joe, tell him he's about to win. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was good.
I actually saw, so a friend of mine actually posted a it wasn't a meme, it was like a status post. It was a Herman, and he put something saying, "Nevada better hurry up," something to the effect of, "Nevada better hurry up or Joe's gonna forget what he's waiting for." And that one was pretty funny too.
Oh, what about that TikTok one? Where's that? It's not Nevada, or it's not Nevada. Yeah. It's not Nevada. No, what is it?
So it says it's not Nevada, it's Nevada. And then so the girl comes out and says, "Well, you better start Nevading up them votes then." That was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, the internet is undefeated. They always.
Oh my
There's
God.
some creative fucking people out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, I love those. Are too funny. But I think the best one is the one about the T.I. song.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. I forgot we were gonna bring that one up. Yeah, it's
I want Joe Biden. I need Joe Biden.
He should have came out to that on a speech. That would have been perfect.
Oh my God, I'm like, dude, the internet always fucking wins.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what were your, I guess, favorite memes or videos. Tag us in them.
Tag us in all of them. We want to see all of them.
I want to see them. Even though it's after the fact, hopefully you save them. I know I saved some, but I'm going to start sharing some because they are just hilarious.
Yep. So I think that's going to wrap it up for us today.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone can come together and be American again. That's why I wore this shirt.
Hopefully I can be proud to be an American again.
Let's
So,
really
yeah.
make America great again.
All right. Well, thank you for listening.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.